Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the next video for the Clone Wars MOC update series. Today's episode is a little bit different. This episode is going to be an overview on the MOC and everything that I've done so far, and then I kind of talk about what else I still need to do. So this felt like a good time to do kind of an overview episode. It's the first one of this series. You guys saw the previous episode with starting on the village with one of the buildings. I felt now is a good time to do a quick overview before I dive in to the rest of the village. This will probably be the only overview update video for the rest of the series. It will be just like the normal ones where I'm actually getting some work done. So if you're new to this series or you haven't watched the other episodes, this is going to be a good episode for you to kind of see everything that's been worked on for the MOC so far. And if you've been here for a while and you're caught up with the series, I set up some figures and you kind of get to a refresher on everything that's been done on the MOC so far. So yeah, I felt like it was a good thing to do. And next episode for the MOC update series here will be back to normal. I'll be building and making progress, but for this one I wanted to slow down and take an episode to kind of show everything that's been done on the MOC so far, and then what I still need to do in some parts. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Again, this will most likely be the only one for the series. After this episode I'll go back to the normal ones, but I just wanted to make a quick overview of everything that's been done so far in case you're new, and then if you have been here for a while, you get to kind of get refreshed on what I've done, and I set up some cool figures. So even if you have seen some of this stuff before, you get to see some hopefully cool figure placement. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. And without any further ado, let's get on into it. Alright guys, so down here at the village area, like I said, last episode you did get to see this right here, which is the new addition in the village here with the house. So that looks pretty cool. I started the road a little bit out there and some of the terrain. And then I am really actually happy about that door. That came out pretty cool, so I'm very happy with the door. And then this building overall, I was worried about it, and then I was able to find a roof design that I was happy with, so that building's looking good. And then obviously the path right here is going to go all the way back and connect with that main road over there, and then you see a spot where a building would go right there, and another spot where a building would go right here on the corner. And then way down here is going to be a larger building, I think, and then of course the path is going to go from right there and wind all the way to that building right there. So I'm very excited about the village. It's going to be hard to build, but I think it's going to look really good when it's finished. Here's some more shots of the building from last episode. I've got some 41st guys set up there, and then I was actually able to, it was ridiculously hard to get that figure to crawl right there. So he's kind of supposed to be crawling out from the basement as if he was in that building. He was crawling under it to try to get to the trench right here. I was having such a hard time trying to get everything to balance there. So really happy I finally was able to do that, but you can kind of tell it's kind of hard. I know it's a little dark and he's kind of hidden back there, but he is crawling out from underneath there, trying to get out of the house and into the trench. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys, because that's what I had in mind with that little entrance right there. And then of course we've got Commander Gree and some more 41st guys. So we've got the house right there, and then down here, I wasn't able to set any figures down here because I'm using most of them up on the build, but down here, of course, is kind of the sewage area. You can see the kind of trans black 1x2 tiles, and it kind of is supposed to show the muddy kind of gross sewage water there. And then we've got just a walkway where you can come over here and walk just through that. And then there's a hidden door back there. And then, of course, down over here, I'll flip the lights on, but there is that hallway down there, which leads to the hideout, which is back there. That episode was actually really fun to make, so I am happy that I actually added that in. And of course, from a few episodes ago, we've got the trench. That episode had me really worrying about what the trench was going to look like. I had so many different designs that just weren't really making it work. I wasn't happy with it, and then finally I found a design where I was like, okay, this is definitely going to work. And then if you watch that episode, I angled some of the stuff down here, so you can kind of see the barricades, or the kind of the inner lining of the trench there is at an angle. I was able to do that, and finally I was like, okay, that looks good, I'm happy with it, and now the overall shape of the trench is I'm very satisfied with, and I think works for what I had in my head. So you can see the wooden planks down there kind of at an angle, which was what I was hoping for. And then the overview, you can kind of see the kind of jagged form of the trench. That is kind of what I was going for. And then I've got some figures down here, of course. They're actually, a few of them are the same from the last time. The trooper climbing up the ladder is the same right there. He's kind of World War I going over the trench and shooting at some of the droids. And then we've got another clone over there, and then this clone with the olive green arms. He's barely peeking over the trench, trying to shoot up at the mountain while being mostly in cover. So that is pretty cool right there. And then down here we've got a poor clone trooper who is in the process of getting shot by that droid. Poor clone, but it looks pretty cool nonetheless. And then up here we've got the security checkpoint that you have to enter to get through to the village. So you can see here's one of the watchtowers, and we've got a 41st trooper in there. He's kind of peeking over the wall and shooting out. So you'll have to go through this security checkpoint in order to get through to the rest of the village right there. So there's the first watchtower. Pretty destroyed in terms of kind of the building is kind of all blown out and destroyed. And this building is in a little better shape here. It's a little more structurally stable. You've got one crack kind of going down the middle, but generally the same design as the other one. And then you can kind of see a clone trooper peeking through there with his rifle. And then up here we've got Luminara kind of covering the clones from incoming blaster fire as these guys shoot back up at the mountain right there. You can see the rocket with the rocket launcher with the 41st trooper, and then the another Kashyyyk trooper right there with a rifle. He's kind of resting the rifle on the kind of security barrier and shooting over at the droids. And then here's the back of that security checkpoint again. A few clones will be able to kind of fire from inside just like that one trooper is, and they'll be able to peek around the corner over here. And then over on this side is the pond area. I'm really happy I added this in. It just gives a nice different difference from just the normal terrain. We actually get some interesting stuff that kind of breaks up the terrain, and I think these 1x1 like trans green cylinder pieces kind of give a cool wavy effect, like a swampy wave effect, which is what I was hoping for with these pieces. And then we've got the docks over here. I mean, it's not really much of a docks, but just a few barrels, and then of course like a little dock that you can fish out of. The villagers are fishing out of it, but of course, a poor clone trooper might end up, falling in during the final setup with the figures. We'll see if we can do something cool like that. And this area just has a few more finishing touches in terms of some of the terrain, just touching it up, lining stuff up again. But for the most part, this pond area is looking pretty good. Here's what the pond looks like from far away. You can see that left, like that stuff up there. I still need to line it up. Don't know how exactly I'm going to line it up because it doesn't really fit with the edge of the base plates. So I got to figure out a solution to that. But once that is all lined up and good, then this portion is kind of done over here. And then you can see clone trooper right there who is getting hit by the Het super battle droid. I've been messing around a lot with how you can pose different clone troopers as they're falling to the ground. So there's a lot of cool different ways that you can do it. A lot of the time you use kind of their legs and their arms to kind of show them being swept, like swept off the ground. And then of course it's a lot of the stuff with the helmet too, how you position that. But I've been messing around a lot with that, trying to figure out which ways I like best for the final figure setup, of course, because in the final MOC there probably will be a lot of clones who are getting hit by all the different Separatist bunkers and fortifications. So that's something I've been messing around with. Next here we are on top of the mountain, and we've got one of the large Separatist bunkers. It's kind of based off the D-Day bunker that you see a lot of the times in those pictures, so that came up pretty well. And we've got a droid kind of shooting through there, and then a couple assassin droids walking around up here. And then the mountain, which I got done actually quite a while ago. Actually, it's kind of weird. It feels like I kind of got done recently, but it was quite a while ago. I think the mountain turned out pretty well. You can see the fortification down there where a droid will be able to peek through and shoot. In particular, I think the mountain probably could have used some more work up top, but I kind of just ran into some space issues up there. But overall, I think it turned out okay. The height is, you can kind of see a trooper down there. That's kind of how tall it is. It's a pretty tall mountain. I think it's the tallest mountain that I've built so far, but you can see the clone troopers down there for a size reference, so the clones definitely don't have the high ground. So Obi-Wan, it's probably a good thing Obi-Wan isn't here, because he would not be very happy about that. So, and then up here we've got just a sniper droideka and a few super battle droids, and then just some normal battle droids as well. And of course we got that blue barricade up there just to kind of help break up some of the mountain to kind of make it look like the Separatists have built a fortress here, because of course they have. And then over here we've got the rest of the mountain. I've talked about how the path, I didn't really plan this out very well, so I started to run out of space when I built the mountain here. So I had to use just a lot of slopes going straight up, using like bricks with modified bricks with studs on the side, showing them go just straight up because I ran out of room with this path, so I wasn't able to build it up that much because of the hangar back there. But I think it still looks pretty good so far. You can see bunkers over there to the right. I just need to fill in some of these gaps, but I think the consensus from one of the previous episodes was the empty parts in the mountain were going to be like parts that have been shot off by clone artillery or clone rocket launchers, and then there'll be a bunch of debris on the ground from that stuff. So that's kind of the idea right now for the rest of the mountain. And again, the droids definitely have the high ground here. And then up here is the top of the mountain. As you can see, I've just got a little path going on there that leads right into the bunker. And then we've just got a few more droids over here and some crates with different droids unloading ammunition and weapons. So nothing too special up here, but I wanted to add something so it wasn't just plain stud plates. I wanted to add a little bit more to it to make it a little more polished off, as if the droids have been, obviously they've been making paths and stuff to help them fight against the clones. So that was kind of the thought process behind this portion up here. And up here has to be one of the cooler spots to look at the MOC from. Up here is that firing position with the droids. Of course, you can see the line of droids over here, and then right here is just a small little path for them to kind of stand on. And if you look up over this way, now you can get a vantage point of all the different stuff that's going down over here. So more than likely during the actual final MOC, there will be a lot of clone casualties just because they're at a huge disadvantage with all of the different Separatist bombardments and fortress and bunker positions that they have, and of course the high ground, so they can see pretty much the whole battlefield. So the clones are in for a very rough battle, but I think they'll be able to hopefully pull a victory off. But of course this spot up here is a good spot to look down at all the different action going on at the build along the main road and into the village. So hopefully you guys enjoy this view from up here. And then up here we've got a turbo laser inspired from the turbo lasers on the Death Star, kind of from the trench run from episode 4. Got a turbo laser up here. Its main job is to protect the bunker over here. This bunker is the main job of the turbo lasers, protect that bunker from Republic airstrikes, Y-wing bombers, all sorts of stuff like that. So that's what this turret is. It can move up and down and spin. Right now it's just locked in, but I can spin it. And then we've got the path up here, which actually had a good suggestion from someone. I'll try to put their name on the screen if I can find the comment. But they said to kind of change this up a little bit, so I probably will get around to doing that, but I haven't really had time to do that yet, so it's still the same as I showed in the first episode, or not the first episode, but where I showed the episode about this turbo laser cannon. I got a good suggestion about switching this up, so I'll probably end up doing that. I just haven't been able to get to it yet. But something we like to do in our MOCs is add a little bit of realism here, so all the different Separatist fortifications up here, I was like, well, the Republic could just send in a few Y-wings, and they could blow the whole mountain up. But I was like, that wouldn't be very cool for the battle. Maybe it would, but not for this build. I want to make it, an intense battle with infantry combat. So I was like, well, these turrets, maybe there'll be a turret here to kind of help fight against Republic airstrikes. So that's the thought process behind that turbo laser right there. And then another thing that I really wanted to add in this MOC was some sort of path to make it just not all terrain. I wanted something to kind of break up the terrain. So that's what this path was here for. As you can see, it's kind of based off a lot of medieval style paths, and you see a lot of MOCs from castle builders that look really awesome at Brickworld, so that's what kind of inspired this path right here that goes all the way to the mountain and over into the village area. I think this makes it look so much better. Without this path here, I think the MOC would not be looking as good at all. I think just the path adds so much more different texture and different kind of, just a lot of different texture and a different look compared to just all terrain. I think it just makes it look so much better, and I'm happy that I added that in, and you guys seem to like it, so that definitely was a huge motivation to add the path and make it, because I asked the question, should the path go from the mountain all the way to the village, and a lot of people said yes, so I was like, that is awesome. I'm really happy. I got some awesome feedback on that, so I decided to extend the path into the village, and I think that was a good decision overall for the MOC. And here is a little bit of a look at the terrain. I've said numerous times before, I am a huge fan of like textured terrain with studs. I know a lot of people like tiled, but again, this was made for Brickworld, and at Brickworld, these kind of studded terrains tend to draw people's eye from afar because you get this really interesting texture and it kind of pops out So Paul and I are a fan of using kind of these studded different plates to give it a lot of texture and depth and height difference between all the different areas of the MOC. So that is one of the reasons why we like to stick with the studded terrain. And I think just at eye level, it's such like so many cool angles where you can just kind of look down and see all the different textures throughout the entire MOC. So I think I am very happy with the studded terrain. I know some people aren't huge fans of it, but that's okay. For this MOC, it is studded terrain because I started building this MOC for Brick World, so I did the studded terrain, and then I didn't really want to take it apart, and I'm actually a larger fan of studded terrain compared to tiled terrain. I just decided to stick with it, and yeah, so that was pretty much a little bit of look at the terrain. Alright, and down here might be my favorite part of the MOC. This is the main hallway. I had a whole episode based on the lights, so I'll put that on the info card right now if you want to see me go through kind of changing this light from just a white color to a green color. So this is the main hallway here. I'm definitely happy with the way this came out. Green just fits the Separatist color pretty well. You see most of the time in the ships and everything like that. The Separatists always have this green kind of tinted hallways, which always looks really cool in the Clone Wars and in a little bit in Revenge of the Sith, but mostly in the Clone Wars. So that always looks cool. So I do have a full episode on this if you are curious. But here's just a quick look at the hallway here. I've still got some assassin droids set up and some clones from that episode. Custom clone commando right there. And then some more assassin droids down over here. So I think this hallway definitely looks really, really cool. Pretty much done. There's just a few small things I need to touch up on the ground and on the ceiling. As you can see, I'll probably have to fix some of those spots where the light is just showing through like that. I might try to fix a few of those spots just to make it a little more clean, and then so you just, like they're kind of coming from the ceiling, you don't actually see the lights, because again up here you can kind of see the light still, so I need to go through and change that. But here is what the hallway looks like with the green tinted lights. Again, I'll put that info card on the screen right now, so if you are curious to see the process of how I put these lights together, I would definitely put that in the info cards right now. And then right here is the main hallway entrance to the hangar part of the base here. You can see I've got some trans blue bricks right there, so the light shines through and creates this kind of cool blue tint, and the clone troopers are silhouetted. So this hallway, I just wanted to add something a little bit extra to make it pop a little more, so it's not just some normal hallway. I wanted to add in some really cool lights, and then you can see into the hangar there. I'll take you guys over there right now. Here is the main Separatist hangar. I also had a whole episode in this, so I'll put the info card in there. This was really fun to make, and I haven't really done something like this yet, like a hangar in any of these MOC series, so I was really excited to build that. So here's kind of what it looks like with the lights on. You can see down there I've got some steps and a path where some Separatist, like high-ranking officer, is walking up to go into his ship here. And then I've got the landing pad right there, and then a whole bunch of droids just kind of guarding this area with some crates and everything like that all over the place. I definitely had a goal where now I want to add in some more lights so you actually can see in here a little better, because right now it's just lit up by these lights up here on the walkway. So as you can see, I've got a walkway up here, and I've got a droid up there just kind of hanging out up there up on the walkway, and you'll see the lights are attached to the ceiling up there. There's still a wire I need to hide, but that's kind of the only light in the hangar right now, so I definitely want to change that and make it a little more visible here with a few more lights. There's the walkway kind of from up above here on the mountain. You can see that nice yellow strip in there. I've got a few of those in here because I thought it would just be nice to add a different, color besides the dark gray and light gray, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. That and the dark blue, those are kind of the two colors I've been adding for the Separatists. So there's the walkway up there. I think the hangar will be a nice change, like if you're watching this MOC and then you just notice all this terrain and bunkers, then hopefully you'll be excited to see that instead of just having bunkers and kind of terrain, there's also a hangar and some hallways. So hopefully that will excite some people, and hopefully people will think that is pretty cool, and hopefully will add to the overall MOC. Here is the hangar now with all the lights on, so you actually can see kind of what the hangar looks like a little bit more. There's those boxes down there and a few droids kind of guarding, and then I've got this walkway where you can kind of go from the door over here. If you remember earlier, I showed the main entrance to the base. That's what that hallway leads to. So you can go from that hallway and you can walk all the way into the path and go up into the shuttle. So I thought that'd be a nice touch to have, kind of like some sort of officer or Separatist admiral who's kind of fleeing the battlefield because the Republic is invading, so he's trying to get out of there pretty quickly. And then you can see I've got doors back there. There's one over there, and then another big door over there to where it leads to theoretically other parts of this giant Separatist base, and it goes into the mountain. So, and then of course the walkway up there. But yeah, I think the hangar looks pretty cool. Definitely tell me in the comment section below what you guys think of the hangar. Do you have any other ideas on this hangar? Because I'm pretty much done with it. At least as of right now, I'm done with it. But if you guys have any really cool suggestions, I will definitely look through those and see if you guys have any other ideas on what to add to the hangar. But for now, the hangar is pretty much done, and I'm definitely happy with it. I'm not sure in the final battle, I'm not sure if the clones will have made it this far into the hangar yet, because that would be pretty hard for them to take the fortress and get into the hangar. So I'm not sure if I'll have any clones in here yet. It might just be filled with a bunch of different droids and droid crew and all sorts of different stuff. Droids walking around and doing things during battle. So I don't know if any clones will make it in here or not. But I still think it's a nice thing to have into the MOC. So definitely tell me in the comment section below what you guys think of this hangar area. Another thing I added were a couple of these rock cracks in the build to kind of make the terrain a little bit different here, to add some different variation to it. And I think it turned out pretty cool. You can see I've got 2 of them going on over here, and then I think in this empty spot right here I'll have another one going through. I think it just is a nice little touch to kind of make the terrain a little bit different, to break it up and have kind of a mini trench. Like it's deep enough to where clones can still get in there and kind of lay down and shoot over it. So they've got a few more extra places to take cover with besides like this main trench. So I've got one right there, and it's just using a bunch of slope pieces, and they're kind of sideways and slanted and stuff like that. So I think that looks fairly cool. I'm going to add in a third one and see what you guys think, but that'll probably be in the finale or one of the last episodes where I touch up some of this terrain. Over here is the kind of entrance to the base over here for the Separatists, but the clones have, at least when I set up these figures right here, they've pushed up pretty far. I don't know if they'll actually push up that far in the actual build, but you can see here just some terrain going up, and then the entrance is right there. Here's the entrance. I've got a lot of that dark blue going on here because of that Separatist blue. It reminds me of the Separatist blue you see a lot of the time on their vehicles and everything like that, and I've got just kind of a cool entrance going on right there. That's kind of one of the first things I built, was this entry area. So that was going to be a main part of the MOC here, and it kind of still is because it's kind of front and center. So, and then obviously over here we've just got a lot of cool different shots of troopers moving up here, and then just like all this battlefield right here to kind of look at and hopefully get some awesome pictures with once Paul and I set up all of the figures. I think it's going to be really, really cool. The figures are going to be a huge part of this MOC, probably more than they have in the past few MOCs, just in terms of how much detail we're going to be able to put into it, because we're not pressured by getting figures set up for the public days at Brickworld. Usually we are we're really quickly trying to set up figures before the public arrives for Brickworld, and we kind of have to rush it a little bit. But now this won't be going to Brickworld because Brickworld was canceled, unfortunately. But now that it's here, we might have more time to set up the figures and do some really cool figure positioning and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get the figure set up. Alright, so I thought I'd close the video out with giving you guys kind of one good look at the full MOC, what it looks like fully. So down here at the village, and then we pan up here, and there is the rest of the build. So it's definitely looking pretty cool so far. There's just a lot more work left to do in terms of I got to finish that terrain, which is a little tedious, but I got to cover those plates in, and then I'll be done with the battlefield for the most part. A few things here and there to finish up, but mainly what I got to focus on first is this village area and completing that, because that's a pretty big part of the MOC, and I definitely want that to look really, really good. And I think adding the village it'll take a few episodes. I've said maybe 2 to 3 episodes of the village, depending how long it takes to build each building. This building took way longer than I thought, but I also had to work the trench right there and I had to build that as well, so that's kind of also why it took so long. So I don't know if the other buildings will take that long, but I'm hoping to have a few episodes, 2 to 3 back here. And then there will be a finale, of course, where I just go in and touch up all a bunch of different small things, and I start to talk about figures and how we might go about placing those figures. So definitely tell me what you guys think of the MOC so far, and if you have anything at all that you think would be really cool to add, or if you have any feedback, just anything, put those in the comment section below. I'll read through all of them, and I'll definitely have a conversation with you guys if you leave some comments. So definitely do that. This MOC has been so much fun to build. I'm really happy with it so far. I'm having the most fun in terms of making videos and building. Out of all my series that I've done for the Brickworld MOCs and other builds, this is definitely my favorite one so far for the series. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos and building the MOC. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I'm going to keep making these videos for you guys because they're really fun to make, and I love interacting with you guys in the comments from every video. So I really appreciate all you guys who watch the video. If you like the video, if you comment, or if you just watch, I appreciate all of it. It's really awesome to have kind of all this community involvement and kind of discussions between everybody in the comment section and everything like that. So definitely let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I guess we'll go on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. I tried not to just ramble on for a long period of time. I tried to get through stuff fairly quickly because there was a lot to show off in this build right now. So I hope you guys did enjoy this kind of overview. And if you didn't really enjoy the overview, don't worry, the next episode for this MOC update series will be back to normal, and we'll be building in the village, another building, and some of the path, and probably stuff like that. So that's the next episode, so don't worry if this episode you weren't a big fan of it, but this is more for just kind of an overview to kind of slow down and take everything in that has been built so far and look ahead a little bit as to what is next. So I hope you guys did enjoy that, and stay tuned for all the exciting content on my channel, and I hope you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.